Hello again, everybody. This is Dr. Glenn with Infinite Wellness. Another one of our question and answer series. Happy to be coming to you. Great time of year, good questions. Coming into Christmas, a lot of stuff that involves dietary things and other stuff, but happy to bring these news to you. Please like our channel, please share, and ask more questions.
All right, so today it says, is it healthy for me to do a cleanse? And is there evidence it's beneficial?
Okay, great question. And I would not suggest this cleanse right about now. After all, we are just out of Thanksgiving and going into the Christmas season. But as New Year's is coming around, that's a great time. I cleanse at least once a year, sometimes twice. And I think it is exceptionally beneficial to be able to kind of reset the body and reset the intestines, the bacteria in them, back to kind of a factory reset. And I'll explain that in a moment. But as far as is it healthy? Yes. I will say a resounding yes to that, and I'll back up with a little bit of proof here shortly. But as far as cleansing, yes, it is definitely a healthy thing to do. Our body needs a break from all of the things that bombard it throughout the year. So when we're constantly eating things and we know some of the foods that we're eating, especially with high preservatives and hormones and all the things that we have to deal with the onslaught of throughout the year, we sometimes just need to get our body back to kind of a reset. Now, there's lots of different ways this can be done, and there are a million quote-unquote cleanses out there. Not all of them are backed up scientifically. Not all of them even have all that much benefit, depending on how they're done. So we'll discuss a little bit about what I think a cleanse is and some other things. Now, a lot of people will talk about fasting, not intermittent fasting, fasting, which would be anything above 72 hours. Technically, that is a cleanse. Now, that's pretty radical. A lot of people don't want to just sit back and drink water for 72 hours. That is an awfully long time not to eat. But if you're inclined to do that, that is a great way to kind of reset some of the intestinal stuff. That is not how I do it, but it is a wonderful way. And fasting is something that's come down through the ages back from basically biblical times. We know that it is beneficial for our body to not keep putting food in and allow it to reset. But for those of the rest of us who don't usually just want to sit back and not eat for 72 hours, which I did do a 72-hour fast this last year. That being said, more by default, I had eaten some stuff that made me kind of sick. I didn't feel well, and I didn't want to eat for like a day or so. So I just went ahead and made it a 3-day, didn't. But other than that, normally I do what is just a 1-week cleanse. So cleansing for me doesn't involve any extra products or things I have to purchase. It's not a long 30-day drawn out thing. It is literally 7 days. That 7 days is very simple. It is fruits, nuts, and vegetables. You may eat any of those food categories, anything in them, as much as you like, but for 7 days. No other food categories of any kind. Only thing you may drink is water. And that's how we do our cleanse, or at least that's the one I recommend to my patients here. It is fairly simple to get through 7 days of that, although you may be a little hungry. It is a little frustrating at times because our body craves the things that we're not getting. Sugars and meats, dairy products, and things of that nature, and especially grains. We don't get a lot of grains in that, obviously, because it doesn't fit into fruit, nut, or vegetable. So we do get a little hungry. But for a week, it really does change how the body's metabolic processes, our intestinal flora, bacteria, are processing. If we don't feed bacteria that crave sugar or crave high in proteins or things of that nature, if we don't feed them for long enough, they tend to start to die out, just like everything else. So for things like gut bacteria, what we want to do is try to starve out the things that we know are not good and to feed the ones that are. We want the bacteria in our gut that are doing a healthy job to get plenty of fruits, to get some good cooked vegetables, to get even just some dietary stuff out of our nuts, which are more of a fibrous type thing, with a protein that's not part of either meat or some type of dairy. So that's how we do our cleanse. Now, back to the evidence behind all this. We all know for a fact, anytime, we can even go back to the things that I don't really necessarily believe in, like intermittent fasting. We all know that if we don't feed for a certain amount of time, the body begins to change its processes. We know it goes into things like ketosis without enough sufficient protein. Without sufficient carbs, too much protein, and it'll actually go into that. But if we take away a large part of the protein, it goes into other factors as well. Ketosis is harmful for the kidneys, long term anyway, whereas something where we don't eat a lot of protein for a while is not necessarily harmful to the body. So we know that it goes into an altered state, and that altered state tends to be one, like I said, where bacteria begin to proliferate for the good ones, populate, and depopulate or die off for the bad ones. And there's your real, when it comes to evidence, there are lots of papers out there showing the gut bacteria changes when poor microbiome is not overly fed with what it's looking for. And in particular, the big one that even alters brain chemistry, and there are lots of studies on this, sugar. So we're eliminating pretty much all sugar during the cleanse, other than naturally occurring fruit sugar, which would be predominantly fructose. Our body handles that very, very well. It does not do much disfavor to any of our insulin processes, and it's not refined in any way, shape, or form if you're eating fresh fruits. So we all know that those are great changes. We all know that the body chemistry will change. We even know that the mental stimulus will change. And because those things change, yeah, we've got a lot of backed up proof that once in a while it's good to clean the body up. And we pretty much know that for any other thing we do, right? I mean, we change the oil in our car, we add gasoline, we do things to most everything we own to keep it fresh, keep it clean. We clean our house. Why would we not clean our body? And a great way to do that is with something short-term like a cleanse. So that's our take on, everything that we know of as far as cleaning the body up and changing intestinal.